All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what is another commentary. So, this one is going to be a lot more unstructured because I just sat down and was like, let me just talk about something I did recently. So, as some of you may or may not know, I have recently built my own gaming computer, and it is a beefy one. Now, overall, all the costs included. I had to buy the case, the RAM, the motherboard, GPU, CPU, everything. CPU cooler, thermal paste, anything you could think of you would need for a PC, I had to buy it. The operating system, everything. I even had to buy new screwdrivers. So, accounting for everything I bought for this new PC, I would say it was about a little over $2,500. Now, with that in mind, right? $2,500. I did pretty much get an animal of a PC. I have 32 gigs of RGB RAM in this thing, a really decent motherboard. I bought two extra fans, one of which I'm using, an i7 9700K, I believe, so I could overclock it, GeForce GTX 2080 Super. I don't know how many gigabytes, but I'm assuming it's around 6, maybe 4 or 6, somewhere around there. Definitely not above that. But overall, it's pretty much an animal. I just want to get that out there with those specs. Now, why am I making this commentary? I wanted to say what I thought about the whole PC building process. It being 2020 coronavirus. We're indoors, we're not doing anything else. How I felt, how it went, should you do it as, a person on the internet, and what are the benefits and negatives. I was confused on what I was going to say there. So, for this one, I have no script. Again, I'm just going off the bone, but, yeah, here we go. So, the benefits of doing it, or, rather, before I even go into that, let me say the whole process of building it. It's been many years since I built a PC. So, now we're going into a little background of me. It's been many years since I built a PC. It's been about, I would say, at least 4 or 5. I've known how to build a PC. I have built one, albeit I did run into issues, but, that's to be expected. Your first time, you're not going to do anything perfect. It's very rare for that to happen. But the first time I did it, I messed up the CPU socket. I had to buy a whole different CPU, return it, get one that actually matched the socket of the motherboard. But anyway, I don't want to go too in depth on the specs and stuff, or well, not specs, but on the actual building process, because a lot of people probably won't understand, and I'm trying to generalize this. But anyway, I made some mistakes there, and I made some mistakes here. Now, the mistakes I made on my first PC building experience over 4 to 5 years ago made it so I couldn't even build the fucking PC. I got the literal CPU wrong. At that point, you can't build the fucking PC. This one that I got wrong, I didn't really get wrong. It just took a little bit of a learning curve to install the CPU cooler. Even though I still don't think I did it right, I did do it. I think I needed to add standoffs or get different screws or something that were more elevated. But anyway, I had some trouble installing a CPU cooler. I have no experience installing a water cooling system, but it looks pretty easy. Now, that leads me into how this build went. This build overall, this 2500 behemoth, which also has, or is going to have tomorrow because another 4 terabyte drive's coming in, it's going to have 7 terabytes of space connected along 3 drives. One solid state M.2 drive, 1 terabyte, and 2 hard drives, one 2 terabyte, one 4 terabyte, all at, I think, 3,000 RPM or some shit like that. The fastest available, or maybe 7,200, I don't remember. But anyway, it's the fastest available. How did this build go? It went pretty well. My old build that I did for my cousin, who lives across the block from me, took me about, I would say, 3 days. 3 days and change. This build took me about 10 plus hours, spanning across 2 days. But overall, maybe around 10, 11 hours in total. And that's mostly because of the fucking CPU cooler nonsense I ran into, and then a lot of the stuff me figuring out for the first time. I didn't know where the M2 went. I didn't know how to connect some of the fans and stuff. But generally, it's stuff I just figured out and didn't have too much of a problem with. I got better with cable management, and I'm pretty proud of that. Now, the actual thing of building it. Over those 10 hours, like I said, like I've kind of alluded to, it was a little frustrating, I'll be honest. Now, it was a little frustrating because I don't know. If you told me to do it now, I'd probably do a lot better job. A lot of the time, building a PC is knowing what you could put in when, in my opinion. Once you know what to put in and where, it's when you put it in. Because, God, when I put the motherboard in the case and then I had to connect more shit to the motherboard, I wanted to fucking slap myself silly. Because I was just like, God damn, I should have left it out to do this. It would have been so much easier. And the biggest thing I can say to anyone who's wondering how to build a new PC is get magnetic screwdrivers. They're not conductive enough to cause electrostatic discharge, and they help the process so much. It's unbelievable. And I didn't have them, which is another reason it took so long. To screw in one of my hard drives, it literally took me an hour because the screw kept falling out from the regular metal screwdriver. It was insane. Now anyway, overall it was very annoying. It was a little stressful, even though I knew at the end of the day kind of what I was doing. I was very scared it wouldn't work. Now, spoiler alert, I'm here talking to you right now, so it ended up working, surprise, surprise. But I messed up on the CPU cooler, the heatsink. I had to reapply the thermal paste twice, and I had to rub it off one of the times, or else I wouldn't be able to apply it twice. And I was like, God, I hope it doesn't mess up. The thermal paste got everywhere. It was a huge mess. I had to wipe it down with alcohol a little bit. I was like, oh, God, I hope the alcohol doesn't mess it up. But luckily, nothing got messed up and everything's fine. Now, again, we'll see in the future if my CPU melts down on itself. But for all intents and purposes, my parts are pretty meaty, and they handle the load I put on them. I could stream everything 1080p, no stuttering, no lag, near max settings, 60 FPS. I could go to 144 FPS, but at that point the fans start to spin a little loud, and because I don't have water cooling, I kind of expect that, and I don't want to deal with the noise because my mic is super fucking sensitive sometimes. But yeah, it was a little painful, but knowing what I know, it wasn't too bad, and I'm happy I did it. Now here's the main issue. I still don't know a lot, and I'm a person who I would say knows more than most when it comes to PC building, at least when you compare to the common person. So, like I said, this thing was stressful to build, because sometimes I didn't know if it would work. At one point, I plugged like LED clips into my motherboard, and I saw some smoke coming out, and I got very fucking scared. But overall, I'm happy I did it, and it was pretty easy. So if people are trying to build their own computer in 2020, even though this is going all over the fucking place at this point, or at least I feel that way, I would recommend it, honestly. Just search up a YouTube video. There's a lot of cool people on YouTube. One in particular that I found was Bitwit, and another one is Jay's 2 Cents. Both of those people are really, really good to follow when building PCs. They explain shit, and they show you everything, and they've done it like 1,000 times, and they're professionals, I would like to say. They're really on top of their shit. But, yeah, the main thing that's off-putting about PCs, though, which is what I ran into, is because you're there's so many different PC parts out there, right? There's different motherboards, there's different fans, there's different cases and everything. You don't know if things will fit, and then you don't know how to do things specific to certain parts. Like, a certain motherboard might have this special thing only that motherboard has, or this case might be a little special when it comes to this certain thing. It's a little weird, but overall I would say it's nothing you can't handle, especially with a Google search, especially if you're getting popular stuff. Now, like I said before, I would recommend PC building, but it's with an asterisk. Number one, it does take a little bit of research. Is it hard? Slightly. It's a lot of learning, and honestly, you're not gonna, like, you could research it as much as you want, but you won't really know what you're doing until you actually do it. And I'm glad I did it. I have more experience now. I love making mistakes with this shit, and my mistakes weren't even that bad to where anything messed up, nothing messed up, so I'm pretty much fine. But it is a process, and it could very well go wrong, and you could end up costing yourself a lot of money. So I would honestly say, I mean, if you're a gamer, maybe you could get into it if you really like that, but it's either if you like it or if you don't. The positive of it is I can now switch out parts as I damn well please, which is why I'm putting 3 drives in here, 3 storage devices in here. Now, that's basically the good part. I would honestly say, though, from my experience, my next PC, I mean, I'm going to have this thing for a while. The other thing is, PC building, when you get to like a very high level, when you want to fit a lot of pieces into like a lot smaller places, at that point, you kind of need to be on your shit, which is what I wanted to do, but I couldn't because I'm just simply not there yet because of experience and just knowledge limitations. Now, I don't want to go too in depth, but there's basically 3 types of case sizes, right? There's ATX, mid ATX, and then there's kind of 2 in the middle, or 2 of the tiniest, micro and mini. One's like bigger than the other, but not by much. Well, by comparatively standards, but anyway, there's mid towers, there's full towers, which are the ATX, and then there's micro and minis. What I used to have was an Alienware, I think micro ATX. It was pretty tiny and it was really fucking compact and it was powerful for its time. Now, remember I said this PC cost me $2,500. And for what it is, I am definitely saving money for what could have been built for me. Because I looked on the Alienware site. Now, you could say Alienware over prices, but generally, I use it as a benchmark just to see, will what I want cost more than what I built? And almost always the answer is fucking yes. If you build your own thing, it's going to be fucking cheaper. And especially in my case, I built it and I needed to buy a lot more stuff that I just needed for first time PC building. But anyway, to get a PC from Alienware that is comparable or similar to my PC now would cost at least $3,000. At least. Now, again, Alienware could be overcharging. They probably are, but not by much. Now, next time, I'm probably honestly going to get an Alienware or something which is pre-built, because one of the biggest things about building your own PC is if something breaks, it's on you. And if you're already at the point where you're trying to learn how to build a PC, if that thing breaks, I mean, unless you're a really patient person and a good learner, or you plan ahead, you're not really going to know how to fix it or what's even wrong most of the time, because a whole slew of things could go wrong with like PCs and you wouldn't even fucking know it. But anyway, I think learning how to build a PC is cool though. It's very much like, if you're interested, you could look up videos, you could learn, and then you could test it out. Maybe not with such a powerful rig like I fucking did, because I went all out. If this thing broke on me, I'd be losing a lot of fucking money. Well, I do have warranties, but I need to figure out what's broken. But anyway, next time I'm probably gonna buy my PC, because number one, it comes with the warranty, and number two, it took me 10 plus hours to build this piece of shit. I don't mind doing it, but the fear is the main thing that really got me scared. Like, the fear of, will it work or will I have wasted my money? When you buy, you kind of forego that fact. Now, I used to think the hardest part of getting a PC was plugging it out and plugging in the new one. That is so comparatively easy now that I know what building it is like. It's insane. Like, pulling out this PC and unplugging a new one, I used to be so lazy I never wanted to do that. Now I'll do it gladly because I know how much work I put into the actual building process. But anyway, to make sure this video doesn't go too long, overall thoughts, and I'll try and summarize basically what I'm trying to get across because I'm sloppy. Overall PC building, I think people should learn it and should do it, not with as powerful systems starting out as I just did, but it's definitely a thing to do, and it's not that hard to do if you're not getting crazy expensive parts like I am. Now, I'm probably not going to do it again unless I improve my knowledge or experience, but I'm a lazy guy and I just want it to be built for me, and if it breaks down, I could call someone to fucking fix it. Yeah, I'm going to have to pay extra, but that's completely fine. And I waited till the end to say this. The reason that I'm probably going to buy my next one is I've seen something that, again, I would say only a PC professional can really do, because number one, they have to find this thing, and number two, they have to make sure it works, is graphics cards are big. Now, I said my old case was a micro ATX, I believe. That's just tiny. The tower I have now is a mid tower, and it's fucking huge. I can't even roll into my desk anymore because it's so fucking big. Now, I'm just going to have to deal with it, big whoop. I'm not going to complain because I have such a powerful PC, but I can't go a little bit closer to my desk. Who gives a fuck? But it is an annoyance I have, and I'm going to be honest, if I bought the Alienware, it would have been smaller than the case I already had, the new one I wanted, which is comparable to this PC. It's actually a little bit worse. It has less memory, but I would have bought that had it been the Mini with a 2080 GTX Super. I don't know how they get it to fit in there, but hey, they're professionals. I'm not. They get it to fit. I don't fucking ask questions. I would have gladly taken that. And I'm glad now I'll hopefully have this PC for a couple years. Yeah, I'll have to deal with the size, but the next time I get a PC, I'm definitely probably going to buy it from someone or have someone else build it for me and just have it be put in a mini ITX because I like space saving until I get a new desk probably. And then just be happy that it's saving space, small, compact, water cooled because I don't want to fucking set that up, and I'll be happy. But if people are interested, definitely do it. Anyway, that's it. I hope this informed people about PC building and sort of inspired you, if not scared you, either to do it or to not do it. I hope you enjoyed, and I am out of here on this very hot and sweaty summer day.